What's happening? And we're back. How's everybody doing? Coming off that last great show that we did with Kira from Black Flag. That was great. You know, it threw me for a loop when we asked her about Joan Jett, and she like launched into her lesbian experience with Joan Jett. That was sort of like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Hey, tell us about Joan Jett. Oh yeah, like, you know, I got down with her. Oh shit. All right. What's happening, Mick? How are you, buddy? What's up, Victoria? What's happening in Berlin? Philip. Joey Mutz, what's up? Hey, Monster. How are you, buddy? I hope you're well. What's up, John? How are you, man, in London? You know, that was a great show. You know, it's Joan Jett, I know, right? Like, I would like to have made out with Joan Jett back in the day. Like in the 80s. I don't know. I would have made out with any of the Runaways back in the day, I guess. Then again, you know, I would have made out with anybody back in the day. So, thank you. Yo, these sideburns don't come easy, bro. You know that, right? A lot of work goes into these, you know? Listen, I don't want to say that, but, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get Joan Jett on the show. Be like, yo, what's up? You got down with Kira from Black Flag? What's up? Joan Jett still hot as fuck. All right. Yeah, she's all right. You know? Oi, oi, oi. What's happening, Hags? What do you say? You know what? I just saw RS. Yo, RS. I thought of you. Here's a picture taken like a block or two from my apartment because I'm on Riverside Park. I thought of you. I snapped this picture, man. That's right. Under Riverside Park, there's the Amtrak trains run under part of Riverside Park. And there's sort of like a door, a grate, and you can kind of look in. And this is all underground. I snapped this. I thought of you, RS, because I know you're a big graffiti fan. So there you go. Thinking of you. That said, is that right? Crimson and Clover is still one of my favorite. Okay. Who originally did Crimson and Clover? Anybody? Crimson and Clover, over and over. Anybody? Yeah, it's a whole Amtrak spot. It goes all the way underneath Riverside Park. You know, that's right. Tommy James and the Shondells, right? Crimson and what's the other one? Didn't she do another one of their songs? Tony James. No, Tony James was the dude from like Generation X. Fucking Slayer. Yes, buddy. Yes. Speaking of Slayer.
Hello. What's going on?
Speaking of Satan worshippers, what's going on?
Hail. Hail, how are you?
Hail.
What's going on?
I saw them open for Slayer at Lemoore. Tommy James and the Shondells opened for Slayer at Lemoore. I must have missed that.
Oh man, she did do another Tommy James song. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
was it?
She did two of them.
Well, she did. Do you want to touch me? That wasn't Tommy
James.
Do
you want to touch? Yeah. Do you want to?
But that wasn't.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Was
touch
that Tommy?
Me? Yeah.
No, that wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That wasn't Tommy James, though. I don't think. Or was it?
What's Crystal Blue Persuasion?
I know that song.
Is that a Tommy James song?
That's another oldie.
I thought Joan Jett did another one.
She did. I just can't think of it.
Maybe it was Crimson and Clover. Over and over. You know what? I saw Joan Jett play in 1981 when I went up to Boston. We saw her at the Channel in 1981. And Joan Jett was great. She had a great band. She was fucking smoking, man.
Well, that's the original Black Hearts, 81.
Yeah. With
was that Ricky Bird?
Ricky Bird, and I forgot. I was friends with him for a while. The bass player had a real baby face. He was in my neighborhood, and going to blank.
I remember she opened up for the Police and at Shea Stadium. It was the Police, Joan Jett, and REM from the Synchronicity tour.
What bass player lives, Matt Gray? What bass player lives near you? His current bass player? All right. Well, Matt's coming. By the way, Gary Moore. Yeah, that's right. Matt Gray's coming on the show today and doing T-shirt
Awesome.
of the week. We haven't done that in a while. You know.
Always great seeing that guy.
In the meantime, let's do photo of the day. Wrong answers only, please. We're going to bring it back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, photo of the day. Hey, photo of the day. Wrong answers only, please. Is it Joan Jett? Is it Gary Moss? Is it... Hey, Big Tony Palmisano, what's up, bro?
Tony.
Yeah. Is it Tommy James and Joan Jett? Yeah, it's Tommy James rocking, the cargo dad hardcore shorts. Is it Blink 182? Is it the gluten-free motherfuckers? Is it Pantera? Is it The Long Wait?
I bet you Larry Kelly knows.
What's up, Al? I hope you're doing all right. And I wish I could come up to Bridge 9 this weekend, and we're going to talk about the Bridge 9 thing when the Women of the Pit are on here later, but I will be out in LA making a new film. Hey, our old friend Whitney Crawford. What's up, Whitney? A commercial for Nuperin. Little, yellow, different. Yes. Is it Men with Hats? Hey, what's going on? Hey, Kira, we were just talking about the Joan Jett thing. What's up, Kira? I hope you're well. It was so great having you on the show. And we were just talking about how the Joan Jett thing came out of left field. Like, bam! Hey, tell us about Joan Jett. Bow! Yeah. So that said, is it the Mamas and the Papas? All the leaves are brown, all the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray, and the sky is gray.
Matt Gray.
You want to know something? I fucking love the Mamas and the Papas. I do, man. I love that shit. Is it the Unmentionables? What's up, Monster? Is it Let's Patrol? Okay, here's another one.
Try another one. Let's see if we get anybody.
All right, let's try.
The Unmentionables.
We are he whose name cannot be spoken. Okay. Anybody? How about right answers? Anybody? Is it the Backstreet Boys? Is it H2O? Very good. Anybody? Is it the Monkees? Take the last train to Clarksville, and I'll meet you at the station.
Remember Ludacris used to do that song.
Yo, fucking who?
Ludacris.
Monkees were great, man. Even though, whatever. Who cares if they didn't write anything or play anything? Those songs were dope.
They did start playing their instruments towards the end.
And they sucked. All right? Stop it. Is it MDC? Mama Cass equals hot, Larry Kelly says. And that whole thing about Mama Cass choking on a ham sandwich is a bunch of bullshit.
It was baloney.
No, she didn't choke on any sandwich. It's such bullshit. It's fucked up, man. All right, can we get some right answers here? If this can't be the first time that we actually... Could it be the first time that nobody knows a fucking band?
I think so.
Here we go. Right answers only, please. Anybody?
It's not a new band.
Not a new band.
No.
We might have stumped them. Is it Crown of Thorns?
That's definitely not Danny.
Yeah, if you think that's Ezag, bro, you're smoking dust down there in Australia, fucking Mick. Fucking Mick.
What's up,
Tony?
Mick?
Is it Tony Hawk? That's actually kind of like that's a good.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Oh, you're getting close. You don't even know you're close, but you're close.
Is it Fury of 5? Another good. Is it The Unseen?
Matt Gray. Matt Gray with the win.
Fucking Matt Gray.
It is The Unseen.
All right.
Yes, it is. In fact,
tell us about it. I'll show the last picture.
This is The Unseen. This is taken at the Highline Ballroom, going back to February of 2008.
Good Lord, man.
And this was a great show, as a matter of fact. This was The Unseen, Sick of It All, The Cro-Mags, Death Before Dishonor, and Wisdom in Chains.
Wow.
I mean, this was
I was at this show.
Yes, I believe you were at this show, as a matter of fact. And
you want to know something? Wait, this was at the Highline Ballroom.
Yes.
It was Cro-Mags. Who else?
Wisdom in Chains, Death Before Dishonor, Cro-Mags, Sick of It All, Unseen.
And what was the year?
2008.
No, I wasn't at this one.
Okay. But yes, this was a tremendous show. It might have been a cancer benefit, actually, now that I remember.
Oh, I remember the show you're talking about, yeah.
Yep. But they did because they did a number of those shows at the Highline, and they were great. I was under the impression they were from Boston, but the Reverend Nicky Bullets told me they're from Central Massachusetts. So
the Highline was all right. I wouldn't go as far as saying the Highline was a great club. It was all right.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been there in a long time. Is it still even
What's
open?
that other place that was kind of like the Highline on the west side?
Terminal 5.
That place sucked. All right?
Terminal 5 is still open, though.
That fucking place sucks.
Wow. Yeah, no, this was Highline wasn't a bad place, but it wasn't like the best place.
Terminal 5, I saw the Black Crows there. That's what I get. That's what I get for even going to see the Black Crows. I deserve anything I get. I went to the Black Crows. It was like a frat party. I was miserable. It was like all getting bumped into all night with guys with like 6 beers in their hand. It's like, oh, Christ almighty. This sucks.
That's funny. You know what? Seeing Tony P out there, one of these days...
Fuck this. Music sucks. Fuck everybody. I'm out of here.
Wow. That was Drew Stone, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the New York Hardcore Chronicles. I'm your host, Steve Messina.
All right, I'm back. I thought about it.
You came out of retirement.
I'm like Rap Bones. I'm retired. I'm back. I'm retired. I'm back.
We ought to get Tony P to come on. I learned the last time I spoke to him that he's a huge pick collector, and that he has a massive guitar pick collection.
Tony Palmisano?
Yeah.
Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, we should get him, and he's real fanatical about it. We're gonna have to investigate.
Had the job for 8 seconds, bro.
No, that's it.
It's like Kiss, the final tour. I'm done. I've had it. I'm retiring. I'm back.
Hey, listen, there's nothing worse than Motley Crue's farewell. So
that shit sucked. Listen, let me tell you something. Well, you know what? Maybe Motley Crue's better now that they got like John 5, who can fucking play. But when I saw them, I was like with Rochelle. I was like, unless I'm mistaken, like they're like lip syncing to a playback. They were just jumping around like to a playback. I'm like, there's no way terrible. There's no way they're playing this stuff. No way. There's like every time they do background vocals, it's like, 15 layered voices, and every time there's a guitar solo, you hear like 3 rhythm tracks under it. I'm like, this is bullshit, man.
Well, that's the whole issue they're having now is that Mick Mars is saying all this shit's on tape.
Mick Mars should shut the fuck up, too, man. You know, just
He
take
can
your
barely
money,
stand up, that
take
guy.
your fucking money, old man, and shut the fuck up, man. Anyway.
On that note.
On a lighter note, looking forward to it. Welcome to the New York Hardcore Chronicles. You know why I'm excited?
Why are you excited?
You know where I'm going? Tomorrow morning?
I know where you're going.
Say it.
Milwaukee Metal Fest.
No.
Oh, you're going to California, right?
I'm going to LA. I can't say it, but it's out there. Does anyone know what I'm going to LA for tomorrow? I'll give you a clue. Here's a clue. All right? How's that for a clue? That's the clue of what I'm doing in LA starting tomorrow. All right? I can't say it, but you can. All right, bro.
All right. I'm sorry. Someone's just trying to come in the room.
What was that? Was that like, don't come in? I'm on my show. All right,
Like
y'all, I'm gonna get going.
All right,
then.
Later.
Bye. That's it. There you have it. The one, the only. Yes, Jeannie, you're coming on. You're coming on after the break. Hey, Eric, what's up, man? Eric, I see you out on the road again. Is that right? Fucking love you, bro. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're all flying out tomorrow, man. This is the one, the only, often imitated, never duplicated. Clank your chains and count your change. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Upstate Records, and the one, the only, the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Yo, nothing for nothing, but how the fuck is Greg Rollet and Ringo Starr in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but not Vinny Stigma and Roger Moret? Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Come on now, George, 126 Hardcore Clothing. By the way, the proprietor of 126 Hardcore Clothing just told me he just came off the most arduous tour he's ever done. He just did the Henry Rollins spoken word tour of Europe. The dude did like 60 shows in 60 days. He said he's never been on anything like that. 60 shows in 60 days. 126 Hardcore Clothing is a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. That said, let's clear the deck. Is that right? Rollins was on fire. I bet, man. He told me it was a hell of a tour. Hardcore's too good for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, it's not too good for the fucking Punk Rock Museum in Vegas, is it? That said, got it. You're working with Scotty and them. That's cool. Love those guys. Say hello for me. Fucking love those guys. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to LA tomorrow to film Motley Crue's farewell tour. That's right. No shit. Girls, girls, girls. Red lips, fingertips. Girls, girls, girls. Yeah, I've never seen the Henry spoken word. All right, let's clear the deck, man. Enough of this. Enough of this. As my grandmother would say, chazarai. Let's bring our guest on. Clear the deck. Everybody, get your shoes and socks on, kids. Here we go. Today's guest is an American guitarist, songwriter, and jeweler hailing from Lexington Park, Maryland. As a musician, he is known for almost 30 years and over 21 releases for being one of the founding members of the punk hardcore band H2O. As a metalsmith, he is known for his work with his company Pnut Jewelry. Please welcome, coming at us from Hollywood, California, Mr. Rusty Pistachio. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Is that Toby you're talking to?
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Hit me up when you come out here. Hit me up.
Hey, yo, we're coming out. We're all flying out in the morning, tomorrow morning.
I know. I was texting with Evan today. Yo, text me about coming on the pod and chilling, bro. Hit me up.
He told me he's coming on your show.
Yes, but how long are you out here for?
I'm out there for 5 days.
Let's link 100%.
All right, I'll text you tomorrow.
Have a good time, Rusty. Bye, buddy.
What's up?
What's up? Here you go. This is welcome to the latest episode of Sideburn Wars. Today's guest is Rusty Pistachio.
We're going to battle right now.
You're winning with that, bro. That's a win right there, bro. That's happening.
They used to be brown.
Yeah. Yep. How are you, man?
Good. I'm good. How you doing?
So wait a second. This is funny because we're kind of on the Motley Crue thing.
Yeah.
What brings you out to LA on a moment's notice?
Well, I got a call yesterday. Hey, you want to go do this? Motley Crue's playing this small venue in Hollywood. You want to go out and check it out? I'll fly you out right now. Blah 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 blah. And it turns out they're not playing, but it doesn't matter because we're out in LA now, so everything's good.
Well, what is it? What is it at the Viper Room?
It's there's a pop-up for I guess a clothing company called Represent. They're doing a Motley Crue collab. And
how did that get lost in translation? It went from a pop-up clothing thing to Motley Crue's playing?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
That is a good question, but I got to say, it's nice to be in LA.
Yeah. I mean, in my original intro, because we talked the other day, you were coming at us from Bluffton, South Carolina.
Yeah. Yesterday I was actually on the water working at a house. I'm doing some. A contractor friend of ours is like, hey, can you help tighten up this $1 million mansion I'm working on? Because I have all the metal skills. And he's like, yeah, can you basically take all the hardware and make it look like it's worth $11 million? And so I was out there, and then I got a phone call from a friend of mine. He's like, hey, you want to fly to LA? There's this Motley Crue thing going on. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll totally fly out there and get a chance to hang out with my band.
Yeah.
Maybe see some metal. But,
is that a rare thing in this day and age, now that everybody's sort of, a little bit older with wives and kids? Is it rare for like you to hang out with your band other than like when we meet at an airport and go on tour?
It wasn't until pandemic. Before the pandemic, we've always, like me, Toby, Adam, we've always lived in the same area.
Right.
And oddly enough, when we did a tour with the Boss Tones years ago, Dickie Barrett goes, when you're off tour, you actually hang out with your band?
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck yeah, dude, we're friends.
Yeah.
The band ended tomorrow. Our friendship is still going to be, strong. Yeah, I've known Toby since he's like 11, 12 years old. And
well, we could why don't we just skip around a little bit while we're at it, right?
Yeah.
Here's a shot of you guys skateboarding as young teenagers.
Oh,
now that's you on the left. Look at the bod on that kid, huh?
Yeah,
and
dude.
that's
Italian
Toby.
stallion.
That's Toby on the top right, right?
Yeah. Shaved down.
Yeah.
With a spiked wristband and a punk rock attitude, and he was actually like one of the best freestyle skaters in the whole town. He skated a ramp on a Rodney Mullen board, which is like about 4 or 5 inches wide, and I was representing with the Dwayne Peters, the old Tub Tech.
Yeah, that's a big board.
Oh yeah, that was huge. I think there was like 214s, the trucks.
Yeah, the thing looks like a surfboard, bro.
Oh yeah. and to hit a ramp, hit a 12-foot ramp with that thing, you felt like you were surfing.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us, how did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
For me, my dad was like a doo-wop singer, so it was always singing. Yeah, big Italian family, and my dad had a doo-wop band, and then even when we were driving around, he'd be like, "Hit that high note," and he'd sing the low, I'd sing the high, and he
Wow.
would push me to just sing and have fun. And we'd be at any kind of family gathering, and back then it was like the Osmonds or Jackson 5, and I had this high pitched, soprano, and they'd be like, "Hit that note, hit that note." I'd be like, "Oh baby, give me one more chance." And start singing or like was it the Partridge Family was like a big
Sure.
Like
that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I never thought of that. I should have my kid do that. Like, hit that note.
No, yeah, it was funny because we I never played guitar until we started H2O, and I was always in chorus, vocal stuff. Like if we and all through like grade school, middle school, and up to high school. I think in high school I kind of checked out. I wasn't really into it, but I was always in like chorus or like the fife and drum corps, like playing drum. And
you never picked up an instrument until later on.
Yeah, I think I started.
What music as a young teenager? What music did you gravitate to? What music did you like?
Oh, Black Sabbath, definitely. AC/DC. A lot of metal and definitely a lot of pop. Anything that sang along, like Boston or Journey or any of the kind of sing-songy melodic stuff. And it's like punk and hardcore. I remember I think new wave. We kind of got hooked on new wave stuff first, Flock of Seagulls and the beachy stuff, and then it's like, okay, we've deviated into something out of the norm, so let's go a little heavier, and then you go for like punk rock, and then Dead Kennedys, and then you're like, oh, I want to go even heavier, so let's go deeper into
was that happening like around this time here? Does that like match up with this?
Oh yeah. There was when skateboarding and punk rock were the marriage of those two. It was like I think the best years for skateboarding.
Sure. And you grew up. And where was this happening?
That was an apartment complex called I think Lex Woods Apartments, and I met Toby. I met Toby and Todd. Their mom was going to be the manager of this complex, or they brought her down.
Is Todd in this picture?
Yeah, Todd's in the picture. He's right in the middle on the top with sunglasses.
Now Todd's like a year, 2 or 3 older than you guys, right?
Todd's 3 years younger than, or 3 years older than Toby, and I think 3 years younger than me. I'm pretty sure 3, actually maybe 6 years younger. Yeah, he's definitely he's the middle child. Toby has an older brother, Tracy, who's 3 years. Okay. They're all 3 years apart.
Got it.
And I met Tracy first before I met these guys, because Tracy, I think, was a year younger than me, and he turned me on. He's like, "Yeah, listen to Dead Kennedys, Butthole Surfers, Eraserhead soundtrack. There's some cool shit."
Yeah, the old Eraserhead soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
So
I think we bought it. I think we bought that based on the album cover, because it's just like, oh, look at this album cover, looks awesome.
Yeah,
but it was pretty gruesome. But we were sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay. 260 shows into it, I can handle it. I can handle anything at this point. I look forward to, like, I hope there's like a blackout or something, like I need a real challenge, man. So let me try to conceptualize the timeline here, okay? So well, actually, did you not play guitar until H2O?
Exactly. Yeah. I played in a band called Roadside Pets, a band called Aglis, a band called Midlife Crisis, a band called Images, and then when Toby's like, let's do this band H2O. He's like, buy a guitar, you be the guitar player. I'm like, fuck yeah.
So what were you doing in Roadside Pets and Images?
Oh, singer. I was vocalist.
You were
Roadside
the
Pets
sh-
was
I did not know that.
yeah. It's Roadside Pets was me and Toby's brother Todd, and we were two singers, and it was you basically like a H2O formula, like three chord punk melodic.
Sure.
Just more based on feel than technicality or technical ability. And so me and Todd, oddly enough, we played a show in DC, and Guy from Rites of Spring and Fugazi. He was in the wings, and after we played, he came up. He's like, "Oh man, that was great. I really love your set." And we're like, "Fuck yeah, thank you, man." And then years later, Fugazi came out with two singers, and I was like, "He stole our idea."
Hey.
Wrong, but
So Toby comes up to New York. He's hanging out with the, he's roading for Sick It All.
I think when he first got up there was hanging with the Token Entry crew. With,
right.
Timmy Chunks and those guys.
Yep.
And Gus Straight Edge, Civ, the Biscuits, and I know he went up to New York, and we encouraged him because I think I was getting ready to move to Baltimore and start going to a college in Baltimore, and I think Todd, I don't know if Todd, because we had like a group home, like a government subsidized apartment that we all kind of hung out with. Toby and his brother and mom lived across the street from me, and I was dating the manager's daughter, so she hooked me up with a cheap apartment, like $60 a month. And but then when any of the boys turned 18, the mom said, "You got to get the fuck out of here," and they basically left their house and moved into my apartment across the street. So but we all at one point, we had been group home, and we're like, okay, I got to go do this. And Toby's like, I want to go to New York and do this. And I'm like, fuck yeah, do it, man. Do it. You got friends there. You got a future there. Maryland, St. Mary's County, there ain't shit there. I mean, not to diss it. But.
And Todd weren't they together in, was it Outgroup?
Oh, Outcrowd.
Outcrowd, excuse me.
Outcrowd, yeah.
Outcrowd. Yeah.
Yeah, we did Roadside Pets, and we did two recordings. We released a little cassette tape. I think it was called Roadside Pets Take Two, and and then we recorded 12 songs and never really got released. And for me, I thought they were great songs, and we ended up I don't know if we talked too much. Was it Talk Too Much? H2O recorded that was a Roadside Pet song, and but yeah, we trying to think what back then. Lost my train of thought. But Roadside Pets, we were about to do. We're trying to book a tour, like a U.S. tour and everything. And the guitar player was like, "I don't know, man. I don't think I want to do this anymore." And like, what? We just recorded all this material. We're about to release it. We haven't signed to a label or anything. We're ready to tour, and you want to call it quits? And so I think Todd was beat up by that, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll start my own band. I'll play guitar." And so Todd started playing guitar and singing, and formed a 3-piece. And he just grabbed guys that he thought were cool and nice, and basically taught them how to play, and formed Outcrowd. And he did that. That's when I formed a band, Midlife Crisis. Grabbed a handful of music dudes.
And wasn't Todd in Midlife Crisis?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was a handful of St. Mary's College friends.
Got it. So Toby's up in New York. I was around. I saw that early H2O stuff. It was, it seemed like a goof to me at the time. It was like him and like Ezak on bass and like.
Oh yeah, My Love Is Real. I think they had the one song.
Yeah, I found the video. I found the first time they ever did it. I posted it a while back. Pretty crazy. And like my first sort of impression of that whole thing was, okay, it's a goof. All right, cool. And then I sort of took my eye off it. And then I guess it became a little bit less than a goof. Tell us how sort of you guys came into it and what the sort of mission statement was.
I think at that time, I remember Toby went out and he went out to Caves. I think Caves invited him out to do some tracks in Lords of Brooklyn studio. And
Right.
he came back and he was like, yeah, I was thinking about doing this hip hop thing, but it's like, like my roots are hardcore and punk. He's like, let's do a fucking hardcore band. And I was like, dude, I would totally love to. And at the time, it was like, I want to say this would have been like summer of 93, 94. And so I ended up, I started school at SUNY New Paltz, and there was a guy who ran a record store, and he had a an apartment sale basically, and he had an old Univox Les Paul copy, and he's like, I was like, I'll give you $100 for that guitar. Yeah, no problem. And took it to Woodstock. They adjusted it and made it play worthy, and I would cut out from college on weekends to go into the city, and we would practice. And we end up Eric Rice. We knew Eric wasn't doing anything, and we're like, "Oh, we'll get Eric on bass." And then Max Capshaw. I think Eric knew Max, and he's like, "Yeah, let's get this together." And Toby came to me one day. He was like, "Yeah, I got actually." We'll rewind a bit. Pete from Sick of It All came in the studio one day, and he was showing me like, "Oh yeah, do bar chords like this and play like that," because I was just learning to play guitar. And he's like, "Hey, I got music for a song, or music for that Sick of It All is not going to use." And it ended up being the backbone for 5-year plan. And
Wow.
like he was showing me, he's like, "I play it like this." I'm like, "Cool." So I learned to play it, and
Wow.
Toby had like 5 pages of lyrics, and I was like, "Oh, look at these lyrics." The main thing on this is like, my friends look out for me like family. That's like basically the mission statement, because we're coming from Maryland, moving to New York, and the New York hardcore family embraced us. And we had what we didn't have in the DC scene. We found in the New York scene, and it was like family. It was loyalty, community, unity. It was people who actually had your back. So, so the 5-year plan, it was basically autobiographical. Toby's talking about, coming up and his mom raising 3 kids on her own. And so it's like, I took those, and I was like, it'd be cool. What if we did this acapella thing? My friends look out for me, and my family. We'll do like a little 3-part harmony. And I remember we played, I believe it was Limelight opening for Rancid, one of the first shows.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, go on. I have that somewhere. Go on.
Like, let's open the show with that vocal, and because at the time it's like, New York hardcore was hard, and we were far from that. So it's like, let's just embrace our melodic side. Embrace, we're not trying to be harder than anybody. We're just trying to be us. And I'm like, what if we came out with this acapella thing? And so we hit the stage. We did the acapella thing, and the whole crowd just stared at us like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right.
And then we have ba-da-da-bow. And then they look like, oh shit, it is hardcore. And then started jumping around. What's up, Max?
What up?
All right.
Yeah.
The first kind of release was, well, the first sort of, was this the first recording?
The demo, yeah. Well, we went. I think we did that for Eyeball Records. We did a 7-inch for Eyeball Records. It was Vinny Eyeball. He worked over at Generation Records, and we're like, let's get in with Don Fury. And I think we went in with Don Fury in his little basement studio. And
the 7-inch, the 7-inch was before the demo.
I believe so.
Is this this is the 7-inch you're talking about?
No. There's one even before that.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was the Equal Vision. That we put that 7-inch out on Equal Vision. I think it went Eyeball Records. And then we did. We actually did a demo because we were talking to Mr. Brett over at Epitaph, and the Rancid was actually in at Electric Ladyland recording "Out Come the Wolves," and so here we
hang out, man. We were watching outside in the garage. The demo was first, and Walter Schreif was produced that with us in the thing. We had the demos, and the songs we used from the demos became the Equal Vision 7-inch. Then later on, Eyeball put all the demos out on a 7-inch.
See?
Yeah,
You're
so-
correct, Drew Stone. You're correct. I'm out of here. Bye. I'm watching. I'm watching.
See, this is why you get. This is why you have Toby in here to remind me what.
No, Toby's good like that. He's like Toby's the fact checker.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, thank you, Toby, and please feel free to jump back in at any point.
Yeah.
So that said, so the demo gets done, and then the 7-inch happens,
Yes.
right? Which is here's the 7-inch again.
So I know why. I'm trying to think what other songs were on there.
There's the 7-inch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then soon after that is the self-titled record.
Yeah, we signed with Blackout.
Yeah. And how'd that come about?
Trying to think. Hey Toby, where you at?
All right.
When we did the Blackout record, I know Bill Wilson was like, "Hey, you want to do a record? Yeah, let's do a record." And I think we were, I think the Blackout record came about. I might be corrected, but if my memory serves me, was we went into the studio or went into Electric Ladyland. We played a demo for Mr. Brett, and Mr. Brett was like, "Yeah, this is great. You know, you keep writing." And we're like, "Well, we thought you were going to sign us and we could get out on tour." And I think we left Electric Ladyland thinking, oh yeah, we got we get the artwork.
Okay, I'll leave you alone. I promise. I'm out.
No,
Yeah, I love you. Bye.
please.
Yo, that must have been pretty like nerve-wracking to go into fucking Electric Lady, right?
Yes.
That would have freaked me out.
But think about the balls we had. We're like, we go in and we're like, "Hey, check out our demo. This shit's fucking awesome." Meanwhile, Mr. Brett is recording one of the greatest,
Yeah, right.
rock records of, our generation, or late of the later generation. And Out Come the Wolves. How good is that? And it's like, and we left there like, man, fuck that guy. We'll sign some other label. We're gonna get out on the road. We want to tour. We're not gonna sit around and wait and just keep writing songs. We want to set the shit in motion.
Before we get into that, I just want to say, for those that may not know, of course, Electric Lady Studio was Jimi Hendrix's studio. It is a legendary, iconic studio. Not only did Hendrix, build the place and record there before his untimely demise in 1970, but Kiss, The Clash, David Bowie. I mean,
everybody wants to record there.
It is, and it's still
Iconic.
there. It's still there to this day. Here's another shot. This is going back to this is like late 80s, early 90s, but this is what Electric Lady looked like back then, back in the day. It was right next to the 8th Street Playhouse, and it was right in the mix. The 8th Street Playhouse was right in. It was right next to the 8th Street Playhouse, but Electric Lady Studio, you go down 8th Street, it was right there.
Yeah, that was not too far from the basketball courts, right?
Yeah. That was a couple blocks away.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Touring is, in retrospect, is it safe to say that touring and having like an incessant tour schedule is what really put H2O on the map early on?
I know. Yeah, we were hungry and we wanted to play, and we would play everything and anything. And I want to say for the first 10 years, we were on the road probably 10 months out of the year.
Wow.
At least we were doing well over 265 shows a year.
Wow.
And we kept it. We basically stayed. I think we would end up doing like 3 U.S. tours in a year, and then we would pepper it in with like a Pacific Rim or Europe. And,
did you guys? I mean, you were young. I'm assuming you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
You had 2 brothers in the band.
Yeah. And we actually had Toby's wife was out with us too. We had Moon doing merchandise, so it was a family affair basically.
Was it all kumbaya, so to speak, early on? Was it real easy? There was no sort of like no drama.
Bands always have their drama.
Yeah, that's for sure.
but there were moments, but they were just minutes, and it's usually due to the tour fatigue. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we were honestly we were that band that we would tour 10 months out of the year, and then we get home and we'd be like, okay, I'll see you over at Niagara, or I'll see you Lower East Side or East Village,
Sure.
and we would always hang. But it's but yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think if there's any more.
When the 7-inch on Equal Vision came out, you went right to you went and toured Europe with Sick of It All, and with Civ,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, that was a great tour.
I mean, that must. I mean, we're talking. What are we talking? 1995, right?
Yeah, summer '95, and that was like that was a 2-month tour, and that's think about a band that's never been on a 2-month tour or even a 2-week tour, and basically put us on tour in Europe for 2 months. We shared a bus with Civ, and yeah, that was great. We
Is that right? Does Moon still do the merchandise? Joe Halleck says, I bought a shirt in Asbury the last time they played.
Nice. Yeah, Moon actually the Rebellion tour we just did in Europe with Madball, Moon came out and did and revisited the merch booth.
That's awesome.
She fucking kills it. It's she is. I would always back in the day I would always say she was the most tour worthy band member.
Wow.
I mean
that says a lot.
It's like to be on the road 10 months out of the year. It's almost like you're built for it, because a lot of people can't handle that kind of a schedule, and it'll beat them down mentally and mainly physically. But
I've been there. I've seen it.
Yeah, and we definitely put our time in.
And it's always the hardest and toughest guys that have the biggest meltdowns on the road. It's always the toughest guys that end up flipping out on the road.
It's yeah, you never know who, and it's and
you never know who. No, that's you nailed it right there. You never know who is going to melt down and flip out on the road.
And I can tell you one thing. So when the whole emo thing came out, like Saves the Day was out on tour with us, and here's these like seemingly soft little guys from Jersey singing tender little emo songs, and we played Chicago, and Minneapolis was the next show, and they're like, we'll get an early start, you guys hang. And we were on a bus, they were in a van, and we were driving in our bus, and we knew they had a head start. And I want to say like 4 a.m, we our bus driver pulls over. He's like, hey, there's an accident in front of us, and I believe it Saves the Day. So we pulled up, and we had one of their guitar players was on our bus. We're like, we'll take one of your guys so you can have more room in the van, But they hit black ice. The van rolled off the road. The trailer flipped. The guitar player's teeth were stuck in the steering wheel. And basically, his teeth hit the steering wheel so hard that 2 of them broke off and pushed what was left up into his jaw. Chris, the singer, broke his collarbone, and so we made sure we got him to the hospital. We helped gather all of their things, and we were basically saying, look, we know, tour's basically over for you guys. And they're like, no, we're not quitting the tour. We'll be there tomorrow. And I think they had maybe 1 day off, and the following day they were back there. And Chris in like a shoulder brace, and the guitar player like mouth all taped up. Seemingly tender little soft guys, and they showed us that there's a spirit of a lion in there.
Yeah. Now incredible miracles and incredible catastrophes happen on the road, man. You see, I've toured around the world, not lately, but kind of in the 90s and a lot. But it was a very exciting thing to do with a bunch of your young friends, stormtrooping into, blitzkrieging through Europe, I mean,
the summer of '95, I think me and our bass player, Eric, we would stay up all night, and we would basically roam the cities and just do stupid shit. But I remember one night, we're like, hey, let's smash every overhead light that we see in a block radius. I hope I'm not indicting myself, but you know, he was drunk and I'm just like along for the ride. So we're just smashing bottles and breaking things, and we found this one light and we're like trying to smash this light, throwing everything we could at it, and then out of the shadows, the club promoter comes out and he's like, "Is this how you Americans treat all venues that you play?" And we're like, "Oh shit, we are those stupid, ignorant,
Hi,
destructive."
we are the ugly Americans.
Yes, the ugly, the shitty, the you know,
Yeah.
the disrespectful, the every
Oh.
bad thing that everyone ever thought of us. We're like encompassed it, and was like, man, to this day I'm so glad the guy came out of the shadows, because like,
Oh.
oh, wait a minute, you can't just run rampant and
It's not
vandalize everything without
Hey, Matt.
questions.
Hey, you know what? Let's do this. Hey, Matt, I'm going to bring you on, man. We're going to bring. It's been a little while, but we're going to bring our friend, my friend, and yours, to do T-shirt of the week, Mr. Drummer Extraordinaire, Mr. Matt Gray. What's up, bro?
Matt Gray. What's up, Matt?
What's up, everyone?
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. What? Tell us. What do you got? And because you know we were just talking about the merch thing, so I thought that was kind of a good segue to bring you on, right?
Sounds great. So I had an H2O windbreaker, but after going through like 250 different shirts, I gave up. I found. We're gonna start with that. We got a patch action. We have the classic
90
H2O
95.
shirt, classic, and then
What
the
year?
other
What
one.
year is that? It's Rusty 95.
Yeah, that one was a throwback from a 95 original, because
Right.
This one's more of a newer one.
Yeah,
But this one's an older one from what I remember.
Oh yeah, the old cassette. Is that the Bridge?
Oh, I like it.
9?
It says Don Fury, produced by Don Fury on it.
I think that's the Bridge 9 limited edition one.
Wow.
Did you say Bridge 9 in there?
It was Becky. I gave it to my wife, Becky, so she ripped off the tag. So I'm not sporting
Tony,
this, that's for sure.
That looks fabulous.
Thanks.
Cool. Right on.
You have to model it for us.
Yeah. Shout out to Don Fury. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Matt, you've seen H2O a million times, right?
Oh yeah, look at my tattoo. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Countless. I mean, I remember being on tour with Bigwig, and we would run into you guys, and it was the same thing. They're like, "You guys are still out on the road," and we're like, "Yeah, we're still doing it and everything." So, because we were doing tour after tour as well. So,
and you guys ended up buying our touring van. I remember, if I remember correctly. I think Bigwig bought our touring vehicle, because we had
really. I don't remember. Oh, maybe.
Passenger van. And
how about that?
Because we had that in a trailer, and we're like, okay, we're not going to be touring as much, and we're definitely not going to be doing it in the van. So let's get rid of and it's like, where do you store a 15-passenger van and a trailer in New
York City?
Yeah.
Right, sure. That would have probably been Tom would have bought that, but
exactly. I'm pretty sure Tom.
Okay. No shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happens. That's what happens, right? It's like, you know, if you're living upstate or in Jersey, you might have a driveway, or Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Well, that van used to stay at my house too. So up in Pennsylvania, it would be in my back of my parents' house. Yeah, from time to time.
And that van, when we I believe I was living in, where was I living at the time? I think I was living in Jersey City at the time, and it was nearly impossible to park. And I know I was dating someone in the city, and I would always kind of try and park that in the Tudor City area. And yeah, it's 15-passenger van with a tow ball, and you're like, whoever is behind you, because I don't think it had backup cameras at the time, so you felt bad for anyone you were backing into a spot, because it's almost like pinballing instead of parking.
Wow, no shit.
Well, thanks, Matt. And anybody you want to shout out or thank or
much love to the H2O family. You guys know I've been a fan forever, and I love you guys. Thank you for always being awesome to me. That's for sure.
Thanks, Matt. means a lot.
Talk to you
So-
soon, Matt.
It's always
You
nice
got
to
it.
always nice to run into you in random spots all over
Absolutely.
a field outside of Pittsburgh.
Yep, exactly. Hope to see you soon, man.
Guys,
Yeah.
Matt, were you guys on the Warp Tour together?
I mean, yeah. I mean, over the years, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Countless times. So
Yep. All right, Matt. Love you, bro. Talk to you soon.
much love, guys. Cheers.
Right, man.
All right. Hey, Rusty, let me take a sponsor break for a couple of minutes,
Sure.
and we'll come back and we will continue on our journey.
Sounds good.
All right. And away we go.
Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. We are looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All Hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to serve all the events as we usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie.
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Oh, shit. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles,
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer.
video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars. We are New York hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
There you have it. And we're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. 3 years into our journey, 260 somewhat shows. Thank you, everybody, for your support. If you were wondering how you could support this endeavor, please, there's a Patreon page still. There's a PayPal address. Feel free to make a contribution. There's a super chat function. If you have a burning desire or question, or you just want to contribute to the show, do a super chat. If you ask a question, it comes through in color. I can't miss it. You go to the front of the crowd. Want to shout out latest patrons: Bridget Holmes, Jay Banks, Chris Dominico, Joshua Sanders, Upstate Rick back again for more, and Tim Shear. Thank you all for contributing and supporting the show. You know what I want to mention? The new book is being designed. The sequel to this. Yes, the sequel, the next book, Volume 2, 1990 to 1999, is being designed as we speak. It's happening. There's a lot of great stuff in it. As you can see, it's going down, and it is free. That's right. It is free to all patrons. If you're a patron, whether you're a $2 patron or a $100 patron, the book's coming to you for free. So please join Patreon. Don't be a Hatreon, join Patreon. That said, I want to mention a couple of upcoming shows. I want to announce a show or two also. Next up, there is not a show on Sunday because I will be in LA. I'll be in LA. But a week from today, Wednesday, April 26th, it's a new music spotlight show with our friends Jerry Lang from Poison Idea and his new project Crime Scene, Sammy Town from Fang, Dan Nastasi from Kings Never Die, and some of the guys from Cropsey. After that, a week after that, B-Girl Cynthia Ross, former fiance of Steve Baders, and Max's Kansas City Denizen will be on the show. Sunday, May 7th, Theo from the Lunatics. May 14th, Wino. Wednesday, May 17th, the return of Steve Birnbaum. Of course, he has that excellent Instagram page. The band was here. I love that page. We're going to break down some of these great photos that he took and talk about the history of it. Riz is coming back on from El Nino Soulfly to talk about his new band and release on Upstate Records, Revenge Beast. Tim Shaw has been rescheduled for Sunday, June 4th. Chris Jericho is on Sunday the 11th. And this, I haven't even announced this yet. Listen, my girlfriend is over the moon about this one. Jetan Damone's coming on the show. Joel Ghostin is co-hosting it with me. I love when Joel comes on. We just did the Kira show together. Listen, all you goth people, I know you're excited. I am too. This is going to be great. This is going to be friggin' great. Really, really excited about this one. So that said, that's what's coming down. That's what's coming down the pipe, so to speak. Get off the pipe. So all that is going down. That said, I want to bring the women of the pit on. I'm talking about Gina and Lori Dawn. What's up?
Hi, how you doing?
Hi. You ever make out with Joan Jett?
No, not yet. I will say not yet. There's still time.
You know what? Everybody, no one should go. I don't hear you, Gina. You're muted. You are muted, Gina.
Okay, how about now? Yes. Now
I don't know. How about now? There you are. Oh, there you are. Do I know you? No, but there you are.
It's funny because I also said not yet at the same time. Lori and I share the same brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what?
I was answering to both of us.
Yes. Thank you, Lori. Thank you.
I'm a firm believer. That everyone should go through this life and make out with Joan Jett at least once.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not opposed.
To be on everybody's bucket list.
Yeah. Let's bring our friend, our friend and guest, Mr. Rusty Pistachio, back on as well. Hi,
Hello.
Rusty. Hey.
Hello. What's going on?
How's it going?
Hey. So
good show so far, guys.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
You know what? We're having fun. It's a fun show today.
It is a fun show today.
You know what? I'm going to shut this thing down and just do a straight comedy show.
I think you should.
Enough with this hardcore shit already.
Yeah.
You know what? Hello, Biohazard. Listen, I know management bought me a ticket and everything, and we're all staying in the Airbnb together, but I'm out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
That'll go over well.
What the fuck?
You're dead to me.
Yeah, you're dead to me. Don't ever. This is it.
Right. The Brooklyn will come out. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Punishment for all your sins. Yeah, see? Hardcore comedy could be a thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
You had a comedian on here once.
I had Joe Sib on.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Once.
yeah. Joe's awesome.
Joe, we love Joe Sib. He's the best. He's the best. So, Lori, Gina, tell us about what's happening here.
Okay, so this band's called Femme. It came on my radar. They came on my radar because it is also Michelle Manona's favorite, and that is a Michelle Manona, photo there. Gave you a bunch. They are a band from Denver, circa 2016 about. Their music is, influenced by music of the 90s. That's how they got into hardcore, bands like Earth Crisis, Snapcase, H2O. So, yep, there's Kat. She wanted to sing in a band because she wanted there to be more female perspectives in hardcore. So that's how they got their start there out in Denver. She also lives out on the East Coast for a while too. So
Yeah, they all started off in Denver, but then they kind of all split up, and like one lives in Washington, another one moved to California. He's an
Yeah.
attorney, so it's hard for them to all get together and tour around, which is why I don't think they're going to be around much longer. So we had to get them in there.
yeah,
Let me tell you something about Denver and being in a band in Denver. If you could cut it and you could perform a high energy set in Denver, right, Rusty?
the altitude.
You can
Perform
go
anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But she was out, people on the East Coast, like New England area might know her. She was also in a band called Road Rage, around the mid 2000s, so around 2010. And actually their first EP with Femme, there's a song called Downstairs at the Middle East, which is like a tribute to the
look at
Middle
that.
East.
Yeah.
And let's
Great
just all
band.
take a minute to appreciate the quality of Michelle's photos. Like,
Yes.
how good? Can we go back and pull
She's
those
awesome.
up? How good are those
The
photos?
lighting is just sublime.
How
Hold
she
on,
captures.
I want to play some of their music. Can we
Yeah.
hear a little of their music?
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. So
That's
they're
good.
not trying to, they get like criticized, I
Oh.
guess, for being too hardcore for punk and being too punk for hardcore. So they're like done with trying to fit in anywhere, and they just do their own thing.
Yeah.
So I respect that too.
Oh, hell yeah. That's the problem.
Right? They're not
People wanna-
trying to
people wanna
check
put
off
you in a
any
box.
boxes. Right. They're not trying to, they're just doing their thing.
Well, that's the kind of world that music is like. The art is like that. I think art in general. It's not just music. It's everything's got to sort of get categorized
Right.
and labeled.
Classified.
Yeah, exactly.
Compartmentalized.
You hear what you want to
Yeah.
hear. I mean, I think, the guitar riffs are really cool in it. I hear a little bit of post-hardcore in there too. So, yeah, it's just a really well-rounded band, and like I said, she's a great voice for, females in the music in hardcore. And, she like wanted to start this band to, amplify that. So, and I think she did.
And what's the proper
damn good job.
pronunciation? What's the proper pronunciation?
Femme. It's a French word for hunger.
Femme,
So,
as in like
femme. So like
femme.
je femme. I'm
Okay.
hungry.
But it's spelled
I'm hungry.
FAIM. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
French for hunger.
Got it. That makes sense. Well,
Yeah,
fantastic.
they were here
Yeah.
just a few like in the beginning of the month. I think that's where Michelle got some of those pictures from.
Great
Maybe not
shot.
all, but some. Yeah, they
Great
were just
shots,
out here.
Michelle.
Yay, Michelle.
Lori, what's happening with this?
Ooh,
Yay,
Lori.
it's Breakfast Day. That means it is Christmas time for all of us vinyl nerds. So Record Store Day at Bridge 9, I will be there. Super excited. They're going to have some Record Store Day releases. They're going to have a pop-up market for, local labels. They will have Nancy Burrill there with her book, I'm Not Holding Your Coat. They will have members of SSD there. I mean, it's just going to be a really fun party. I'll be there.
Larry Kelly will be there.
Yeah, with
Well,
some of
that's worth a
Lexicon's
trip right there to go see Larry Kelly.
fashions. So, yeah.
And
And it's all going to be in the B9 warehouse, which is a great space.
Yeah,
And
he did a great job with that building.
You
It's
saw it,
beautiful.
You saw it,
it's
Rusty?
incredible.
Yeah.
Did you
It's
see it,
great.
Rusty?
Chris, last time we played up that way, we played up in Rhode Island with Madball. Chris came out and he definitely, I haven't seen it in person, just all the pictures. He had a phone full of pictures and it's looking really good.
Yeah, it's a great space. I've been there a couple of times, and yeah, we're big fans of Chris Red and Bridge 9, and
oh yeah,
you know,
good dude, solid dude.
Yeah, so wherever anybody is
Absolutely.
in the world, get out there and support your local record store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Larry Kelly says, "Come see me. I'm lonely."
Aww. And that flyer, Lori did that flyer. Wasn't that cute? Wait, can we go back to the flyer?
Sure, yeah. Here we go.
Lori designed her little, look at her little doodles. Like, it's just so cute. I love how that looks. Yeah.
There you go.
Very cool.
If you know what, if I was here, I'd go.
I wish you were. Yeah, it's gonna
I'll be busy getting pummeled by like punishment.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're saying.
Dun, 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 dun.
There you go.
Anybody you want to shout out, Gina?
Yeah, my mom. Yesterday is my mom's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you. Thank you for everything you do.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
My
Mom.
mom's-
Thank you for bringing Gina into the world.
Yeah.
Lori?
Yeah,
Absolutely. So I'm going to shout out my friends from Lockdown. So the band the band T-shirt that I'm wearing, Long Island Hardcore.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. There you have it. Women of the Pit segment on today's show.
Nice. How awesome is that? The voice. Fem? Is it Fem?
You femme.
Yeah. Great voice. Great voice.
Yeah. Lot of heavy bands these days with females, with gals in it. I'm never sure what I'm never sure what to say so I don't get in trouble. You know, like females, gals, girls, women. You know,
women, the ladies.
You know, we're talking about Bridge 9, and we're excited. The band I'm in is got a release. You know, we're coming out on Bridge 9. It hasn't been announced yet, but that's happening.
Nice.
You guys had a nice little run with Bridge 9, right?
Oh yeah. They,
Tell us about it.
I know Nothing to Prove when they approached us as, I want to say they approached us more as fans. They're like, we love H2O. We'd love to do a record with you. And just the way the conversations we had, Lower East Side, East Village, when those guys would come and visit, it just sounded like, man, why wouldn't we do a record with this label? These guys are, you know, doing everything DIY, doing everything ground up.
Sure.
Just crazy work ethic, and it's just funny that the seed money for their label came from a Yankees suck t-shirt. So for us, I'm like, these guys are awesome. And,
Yankees suck, and the A-Royd takes it in the ass, and fuck A-Rod, and yeah.
But it's definitely, you know, and it was nice to be approached when we're kind of like, are we taking a break? Are we done?
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to say? And
did the relationship with Epitaph sort of was it Epitaph, and then wasn't there an MCA moment also?
Yeah, we had we did a couple of records with Epitaph, and then I remember we were on tour at one point, and Todd Morse kind of broke down. He was like, yeah, you know, I know a guy at MCA wanted to sign Outcrowd, and he's been checking out H2O, and he's like, you know, and at that point, Todd had been playing guitar, writing songs since he's like 14, 15 years old. And he's like, you know what, I would like to see if we could do it. I'd like to get that shot.
Yeah.
What can we do with major label support, money, or any, you know, everything that goes along with being on a major label. And
sure.
for me, myself, and I'm sure for other bandmates, it's like, you know, when we signed Epitaph, it was through Tim Armstrong and Rancid and Mr. Brett and Dave Hansen, like all the people.
Was it Epitaph proper, or was it Hellcat?
No, it was Epitaph proper.
Epitaph proper, sure.
Yeah, Mr. Brett actually flew himself and all his gear out to Coyote Studios when we did FTTW. But he basically after we spoke to him at Electric Ladyland, and he's like, "Oh, keep writing." We were like, "Okay, whatever." We want to tour, and we end up doing a record with Blackout, touring the world for a year. And then when we wanted to do our second record, he met us in California. I forget which. I think we're playing the Roxy. And he showed up, and he's like, "Where was this record? You played me these demos, but where was this record? I would have signed you guys in a second."
Oh, meaning what? Like you played me this Skata.
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
The Blackout record. He was like, this. I would have totally put this record out. He's like, "I want to do a record with you guys," and we're like, "Sure." We definitely wanted to do a.
Nice.
And at the time we were kind of waffling. Do we do another Blackout record? And when Mr. Brett came out and chatted us up, it was like, yeah, we wanted to do this from day one. And
sure,
Epitaph is a great label. And when we did our first record with them, it's like they couldn't have been more family vibe, for lack of better description. But it's like the team, they're like, "This is going to be your team that's working with you." And Dave Hansen was an amazing human being and still is. And Mr. Brett was so supportive, and everybody at the label, you'd walk in and you just feel like, everyone wants to hug you and shake your hand. So it was, it's
definitely nice. It's definitely nice to be wanted.
Yes. Yeah. And we're like, hell yeah, we want to do records with Epitaph. And I think we were working on our third record for Epitaph, basically, and I think Todd met with Mr. Brett and was basically asking, "Hey, we have material for a third record, and what, is there anything different we would do on this record cycle, or anything new that you want to add to it?" And Mr. Brett said something like, "Well, we do what we do. You give us the material, we throw it at the wall to see if it sticks." And
sure.
And I think the conversation Todd had, it would seem a little disinterested in some respects. At least that's how he explained it to us.
And let me just ask, was Todd Morse basically sort of the point man in H2O back then when it came to things like this? Was he sort of the kind of like the guy that's kind of been around a little longer and knows the business a little? Was he sort of like the mouthpiece of the band?
Not entirely. He was more like he was way more seasoned as a musician, songwriter, and
sure.
And he ran the show for his own band for so long,
right,
that sometimes we would default and we'd be like, "Oh, okay, he's been around the block. Maybe he's the one to have." And he was the one who basically wanted to sign to MCA. So we were like, "Okay, well, you feel it out. Go talk to him and feel it out." And I remember I was like, Epitaph is more like a family. I totally, in all the songs that I wrote for the MCA record were already written, and most of them were written for the next Epitaph record. And but when we signed to MCA, it was definitely I want to say the recording process was a way different from what we had done, and it was we were pulled from New York, where H2O was a New York band, and we recorded in New York, and everything, the vibe, the feel, our lives, everything was New York. And then for the MCA record, they were like, "Why don't you record in Canoga Park at the Captain and Tennille studio and pick a producer. Who would you want to work with?" And we were like, "Well, Matt Wallace did Replacements. He did the Faith No More record." And we're like, "This guy knows how to get a good sounding record. So
oh yeah,
we'd love to work with this guy." And I feel like we were out here in LA for so long working on the record, and we were all homesick. And when it came down to the mixing and mastering, we're like, "Oh yeah, go ahead. We want to go home. We want to be with our New York family." And I feel almost like we were shipping CDs back and forth and listening to them on what we had to listen to them. And I feel like there was something, it lost something in the mix and the mastering. And it's almost like it was, if you're Italian and you're making meatballs, you don't overwork the meat. And I feel like
good analogy.
Too much, and it just came off as not as palatable.
now, so to do hey, Brooke, how you doing? I want to shout out Brooke Smith. What's happening, Brooke? Our favorite actress and photographer.
Hey, Brooke. What an awesome photograph book. All those.
Yeah, the book is great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, the book is great, and I moderated the event here at New York A Generation.
Oh man,
yes.
and Brooke is a beautiful human being.
Hey, Brooke, the acting's okay, but we really love the photos from the '90s.
just your whole vibe.
Hey, the acting thing's great, but just so I understand, did you leave? Like, was it bye Epitaph, and then you landed at MCA for that record? Did you cut ties with Epitaph to arrive at MCA?
No, we didn't. We didn't necessarily cut ties, and we spoke to them. We said, hey, and they were backing it. They're like, hey, we understand. We can do this for you, and maybe they can do a little bit more. And no, you guys want to try and do it. We got your back, and just pretty much like a good parent.
So was it?
We're gonna give you the freedom to go do what you want to do. If you fall, it'll be a lesson learned. If you fly, it'll be great, and we're happy for you. So.
And how do you feel? And how do you feel that turned out inevitably?
The MCA thing, it definitely I want to say it was one of those times we had been touring for about 10 years straight, 10 months out of the year. We did that record. We were on the road for about 18 months on that record, and maybe with a couple weeks off here and there. And it was work. And there were things about that record that, some of us hated, some of us liked, and it was so many different things. Like, maybe Toby's like, that doesn't sound like my vocal, or I'd be like, those guitars have no balls, and it's like, but one of my favorite songs I ever wrote is on that record. That's the only thing, there's positive things about it, but when I listen to that record, it's like, yeah, there's some great parts, and there's the demos for that. A lot of the demos we did for that record, I like the demo version, and I would love to go back.
That happens, and that kind of stings when that happens. Like, I really like the demo. I really like the demos we did the demos we did in the cheap rehearsal studio before we went in with the big time. The raw. I really like the raw demo we did with the energy. With the energy before we went in with the big time producer and put it through the grinder,
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. And there were moments like we were on tour forever, so we're writing that record on tour, and we'd be in, like, I'm trying to think, like Missouri, and someone's like, hey, I got a studio, you can come in and bang out a few songs. Maybe it was upstate New York, but if Toby was here, he would definitely be able to correct my old brain.
I want to ask you. We were talking in the pre-show, and I heard you talking to some of the other people, and you said something, and I made a couple notes unbeknownst to you. And you talked about music is vibrations. You talked about that, like, for you. Could you expound on that a little bit and explain to us sort of like the theory behind that?
I think like audio wise, and I think if you're ADHD, or if you're a child who's been abused, I think audio has a lot to do with your mental state. And I think vibrations, for me, it's like singing, it's humming. I think even chants, when you were talking about the history of, like when we were talking about Melissa Cross for a second, about the history of chanting, and but for me, it's different vibrations. For me, as the one thing that calms me and keeps me on track, keeps me happy, keeps me positive, keeps me wanting to live, is singing and making songs and vibrations. You figure your vocal cords, you're singing and you hit a certain note, and coming up as a vocalist, singing in chorus and whatnot. I know there's songs and there's melodies and there's notes that hit a certain way, and it's almost like that is, like for ET, your heart light or whatever. And I know it's just like food. Your palate can be refined. Your palate can, and you might just love Twinkies, but it's you for it's different for everybody, I think. And
Well, music will do that, and it is the tie that binds us together, and that's what we're all here for, even today. I mean, it is our
universal.
it is the universal language. Absolutely, yes, Wes. The universe is based on vibrations. Absolutely, and it is certainly not that we want to go down that rabbit hole, but we are vibrating at a certain frequency, and that's why we were in this dimension right now.
Exactly, like A440 or whatever.
Yeah. That's why we're here. And theoretically, there's dimensions in each direction that are vibrating a little faster and a little slower, and that's.
And it's like try the nuance of vibrating. Nuance of vibration. But yeah, I know playing guitar and even doing metal work and playing a drum, and it's like you hammer a drum, you beat the strings, and it's definitely there's you get a certain vibe and feel through your fingers, through the metals, through the strings, through the vocal cords. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned before you went to SUNY New Paltz,
Yeah.
and you graduated with an MFA in metals, right?
Yeah.
And so did going to New Paltz and studying, all that happened before the H2O thing started happening?
I started doing like jewelry and metalsmithing before H2O, but it was there's Max. So started doing jewelry and metals in undergrad, and it was an easy way to keep my GPA up because it was tactile, it was hands-on, and to me it was pretty easy. And so I'm like, I'm gonna take a jewelry metals class every semester just to make sure I'm guaranteed an A. It'll keep my GPA up. I won't get kicked out.
Right.
And then the longer I did it, the more I learned. And so I started. I know there was a professor of sculpture, and she was amazing, and she did great work, and she did huge metal sculpture. And I was like, "How did you become a college professor?" And she's like, "Oh, I got my MFA." I'm like, well, that's what I'm going to do because I want to have options. If I want to have summers off, I want to always be in a learning, teaching environment where you have access to fresh ideas, and just people who are interested in furthering, their knowledge of art and community. And so,
all right. West Fortitude says our engagement rings were made by Rusty. All right. Cool.
Hello.
Yeah.
But I heard I transferred to Towson State, and I was talking to someone who had gone to SUNY New Paltz, and she was a grad student at Towson when I was undergrad, and she goes, "Look, SUNY New Paltz, it's like top 10 in the world, top 2 in the nation." She's like, if you want the best of the best, the best education, the best opportunity, that's where you need to go." And I was like, "Cool, I'm going there." And then she started laughing at me. She's like, "Hey, you'll never get in. You'll never get in there. They only take like five students a year or 5 students a semester." And so I was like, to me, just like H2O, it was never a question of if you could do it. It was always let's fucking do this shit, and not question if you can. And so it was the same with getting into that school. I sent a portfolio, I sent a letter, I sent pictures, and then it was 2 months before school was supposed to start, and I was like, why haven't they called me? I know they're missing out on something. Like the dumbass that I was. But so I called them. I was like, "Hey, you got my did you get my my letter? Did you get my portfolio?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we did." And as a matter of fact, we had somebody drop out, and if you can come up here tomorrow, we can interview you, and maybe you can take this open spot. And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" rent a car.
Wow, talk
drive.
about a moment, huh?
Yeah.
It's just, man, it's one of those things that you know, you hear these stories every now and then. It was like I picked up the phone at that moment. Somebody dropped out. Can you be up here yesterday? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love stuff like that, man. It's like, you know, it's changed. You know, it just it's amazing how a random moment in time like that can just
Oh, yeah.
change somebody's destiny and change your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it definitely it put me upstate because I was in Maryland and Baltimore. It put me upstate, and then
And New Paltz, and I got to say, I know New Paltz because you know, my brother used to climb the gunks there, and
Yeah.
we Antidote recorded a record up there. I spent a good amount of time in New Paltz. It's a nice place to go to college.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's definitely
It is.
the rock. I think it's the best rock climbing on the East Coast.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's right, Kevin. Good things happen to good people. You know, we like to think that.
Thank
you.
you.
Know. At what point? So is it? Can you tell us a little bit about your passion for being a jeweler, and does it
It's
bring?
dumb.
Does it, go ahead.
It's funny. I never was like I'm gonna be a jeweler. I'm like, you know, but when I started in school and I took the first jewelry class, there was a professor. He was an old English silversmith, and he would teach me how to do things, and I'd be like, well, what if I would do it this way? And he's like, oh, you can't do that. That'll never work. And it was his way of saying, you know, try harder and maybe you'll get it done. But anytime when in the jewelry thing where I came across a problem where you know, they're like, you can't do that. I was like, well, fuck it, let me try it. And it would work. And this guy gave me a lot of encouragement. And growing up, it's like, you know, coming from a hard-nosed Italian family and without a lot of support other than, you know, do this or you get your ass kicked. You know, you'd be in school and you're like, hey, I'm in an academic arena that, you know, for the entire time I'm there, I'm wondering how the fuck did I fake my way into this? Because I'm not smart. I'm just, you know, and it was one of those things where I got so much encouragement every time I did good. The ADHD brain said, thank you. And let's keep moving. Let's push forward. Let's
and at what point did you sort of get Pnut up and running?
I want to say it would have been about the same time H2O, because we were like, okay, we're gonna do this band, we're gonna be touring, and then whenever we're home from tour, I'll be like, I had a studio space in Jersey City, and I actually shared studio space with these guerrilla lowbrow artist Ron English. So I would get off tour and I'd run straight to the studio, make some stuff, and then I would bring stuff out on tour with me, because a lot of the bands would be like, I'd make stuff for myself. A lot of bands would be like, hey, where'd you get that? And I made it. Like, no way, can you make me one? I'm like, fuck yeah, I can make you something like this.
Sure. And
that was basically the way that it began. And you know, when I was in grad school, I did a show, and it was more like how do you I think I used I know I used Marginal Man lyrics. It goes, the social ladder is incomplete. It's missing lungs.
Missing rungs. Missing rungs. It's missing rungs.
Or to protect the elite. And that's, for me, I was like, I'm in grad school. I'm studying jewelry and metals and the history of jewelry and metals. It's always the aristocracy that has these items to, you know, figure interesting and new because they're so bored and so rich and so complacent or whatever. How do we make it more interesting to glutton and to eat and to get heavier and fatter and bring in the metalsmith? The metalsmith would make a soup tureen and let's put the family crest on it.
Right.
If you wanted to be a master, you had to join a guild, and you'd have to do a journeyman's piece, would be like a tea set, and then you would sell it to, you know, this rich family, and then you would get paid enough money to make another one, but never would you step into their arena. So for me, I was like, it just seemed like, you know, I want to be the Marxist metalsmith. I want to do shit that talks about and analyzes and criticizes the metals field. and it's gluttony, or it's elitism, or so so I did an art show where I'm making these pieces that talk about inequality, and my main thing was I wanted an audience, and I wanted to talk about my ideas, and community and unity and family, and helping the underdog. And so I'm making art pieces that are speaking about this, and I'm going, okay, yeah, 30, 50, maybe 100 people saw this, and then we talked about it, and then we started H2O, and I was like, I can sing about this. We can sing about these same ideals, high, low. Awesome. What does it mean? Another word for temperature followed by degree. I know it may sound simple, but degrees of separation, what I find, was one of our first songs.
It
was my master's thesis, basically, because my professor, I said, look, instead of doing like a 7-page dissertation, can I just write a song about what this is all about? And he goes, you can write a song, but only if you can record it and submit it on a CD. And he didn't think I had access to that, so I wrote that song, High Low.
That's awesome.
And that was my MFA.
That is great.
That was my thesis statement, basically.
That's really great. That's really great. And anybody out there, hey, there it is, www.pnutjewelry.com. Go check out Rusty's stuff. There's some really, really, really great stuff there. Some really cool stuff, man.
And it's all really old stuff.
I like the X ring. I like that.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Another thing that let me just clear the deck a little bit. Another passion that turns up in a lot of the jewelry stuff and a lot of the imagery is your love for motorcycles.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about what that comes from, and also what's going on here in this picture?
That is actually, I think that's Escalante. That's not far from. We did a 7-day off-road trip into Death Valley, and it was me, Tim Green. Tim Green, we call him Magellan. Tim Green was he was a roadie with that band, The Cult.
7 days in Death Valley?
Yeah, 7 days off-road.
You sleep outside. You sleep out under the stars and everything.
We glamped. We instead of sleeping out because it was cold. It was really cold at night. We actually we found a really cheap dive hotel in Nevada, and we would bike all day and then bike back to the hotel and then start before the sun comes up. We'd start in that. We did the White Rim Trail in Moab. And the White Rim Trail is like 75 miles off road, and there's some crazy, like it'll be like let's see, 45 degree downhills, downgrades. It would come to a like a hook, and if you went straight, you would go about a mile down into the Colorado River. I think it was Snake River went through there, or the Colorado River went through there.
Yeah.
But there was some crazy shit out there, and it was definitely a lot of fun. And I know we started a crew called the Hellfire Canyon Club. It was Danny Boy.
Danny Boy from House of Pain.
Yeah, Danny Boy was like, I want to do this crew and get a bunch of guys together and ride. And it was mostly sober dudes that we meet at the cabin in LA. And
sure.
And he was like, I'm going to go ride with Steve Jones. And I'm like, Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh man, it'd be great to meet him. He's like, well, come ride with us. And I went out and rode with him, and we had more laughing than anything. You're riding, you'd stop, you talk shit, you die laughing, you ride some more. And it's definitely like one of the best times. It would have been like 2008. But we the crew started, me, Danny Boy, Steve Jones, and then Billy Morrison joined, Billy Duffy, Tim Green.
Wow.
It ended up starting with 3, and at one point I think maybe 9 to 12 people would roll out, and then at one point Billy Idol came out, and we were riding through the hills in California.
I'm surprised that Billy Idol will be riding, because I think he hurt himself really bad many years ago on a bike. He really hurt himself bad.
I think he almost lost his leg.
He almost lost. Yeah, and that was on a motorcycle. It took him years
Oh yeah.
to kind of get back up to speed, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. And when
Yeah.
when he joined us, it's funny. We were all waiting. We would line up on this street, and there was a restaurant called Headley's. We would go to brunch, and it's like, hey, let's grab a quick breakfast, and then we'll line up. And we saw this dude roll up. He's got chaps on, like leather chaps. He's got this leather vest. He's got this leather thing over his face. All you see is eyes. He has his helmet. And he rolls up, and I look at Jonesy. I was like, doesn't this guy know this is a no chaps chapter? It's like, we basically I had a laugh for a minute on his expense. And Jonesy's like, that's Billy Idol, mate. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That's not Billy Idol. And he pulled his mask down and pulled his helmet off, and his hair goes poof.
You were like, ah!
I'm like, it's fucking Billy Idol. Awesome. And you hear him go, here, let's roll. And
let's roll.
Yeah. And I was like, this is fucking cool.
That's
and,
awesome, man.
So yeah, he joined us on a few rides, which was really nice. And I think the crowning glory, we're coming out of the hills, and we had split off. Some people were going Beverly Hills area, some are going lower, like mid-city Hollywood area. And Billy Idol rolled up to me. He's like, which way you going, mate? I'm like, I'm going this way. He's like, I'll follow you. And I was like, I'm leading the pack. I got Billy Idol behind me. So it's pretty fucking cool.
We're the rebel yell.
Yeah. More.
Yeah.
It's funny when he would do the turn. I'm turning. He would go like this and throw his fist up, and I would in my mind I would go more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a nice day for a white wedding. Yeah. He's actually, speaking of the two of them, they're doing that what's it called? Generation Sex thing?
Yeah.
You know about that? I think it's Billy Idol, Jones, and a couple of the other guys. Paul Cook's playing drums. It's like half of Generation X and half of the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, which is cool. Which all amazing dudes. I gotta say, across the board, it's like we've done Runyon with Jonesy and Cookie, and it's like fucking solid, awesome dudes. And Billy Idol couldn't be more of like a gentleman. And I've seen him. I've run into him after we're riding or whatever. I'd see him at like the Chateau Marmont or some restaurant.
Sure.
And I'd be like,
that's where you would see him at the Chateau Marmont. That's his spot.
But like I go up and say, hey, how you doing, man? He's like, oh, hey, how you doing, mate? And always like with a big smile. And
well, you know when you connect with someone on that level, and it's not like showbiz, right?
Yeah.
It's like, sure, we have our sort of music show, especially out there in Hollywood, but you're connecting with someone on a more heartfelt level in a certain way. You're connecting with these guys over your love for biking and stuff like that, and there's a real bond there.
Yeah, they're definitely in the Hellfire Canyon. I know Danny Boy made a shit ton of T-shirts and stuff for us. So we I think it was Jonesy's birthday, and he put Jones Gang, and so we all showed up with the Jones Gang shirts, and it was definitely like a nice camaraderie.
Before we take a break, the last quick break, and take questions from around the world, I want to talk a little gear with you. Have you always been a Les Paul guy?
No, I started with SGs.
First guitar,
the first guitar I ever had, at least with H2O, was a Univox, and it was like a Les Paul copy. And I really wish, I think everyone says this, I really wish I had that guitar.
Right.
It ended up going, Scott McGee was our kind of mentor manager for a minute, and his assistant, Melissa, I ended up giving it to her, and she, I think a boyfriend took it in a bad breakup, and I'm like, shit, why didn't you get that guitar back? But
man, you can't be giving guitars away, bro. Who are you, Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah,
have a guitar.
Right? It's like, but I played SGs for years, and and then when we did Go, I always wanted a gold top. Mike Ness played a gold top, and I was like,
oh yeah,
that shit, it looks cool and it sounds so good.
Oh yeah, nothing sounds like it.
Yeah, and that and I got that's a 56 reissue. The one in that picture is a 56 reissue, like custom shop reissue. I got that in 2000, and it was like the P90s, and that thing.
I'm not sure. Is that what you're holding? If that's what you're holding in this is a Steven Messina photo from BB King's I can't tell.
No, that's either an SG or yeah,
It's hard to tell. Yeah.
Look, I'm blind here. Here you go. What's on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely SG. And I think I have at around that time I had First Act. Jimmy Archie, he worked over at Gibson, and First Act guitars were trying to do like a custom
excuse
line.
me, the legendary Jimmy over at Gibson.
Yeah, Jimmy's awesome. Jimmy,
Legend.
When he left Gibson and started with the custom side of First Act, they were going to do like the bespoke models and custom models. He goes, design your perfect guitar. What would you want? And I go, I want an SG shape, but I want a Les Paul, like heavy duty Les Paul. And so it's basically like a double cutaway Les Paul, thick and with a binder, and I put I forget the super distortion pickups in it, and that I end up playing, and then I was like, it's one of a kind, so I'm gonna put it away. And I'm gonna give a shout out to a friend of mine, Jonathan Karam, who's a fucking amazing human being, and he owns that guitar now. I gifted that to him because I was like, this is an amazing human being. So I'm like, I'm passing you my Excalibur.
Yeah, you are like a little bit like Jimi Hendrix giving the guitars away. I don't know if this is current, but I don't know if this is your current rig that you drag around. Maybe this is going back a while.
Oh no. Now for me it's very basic. Orange rocker verb,
right,
and gold top. Just no pedals, just straight through the amp.
Got it.
Yeah. And now I actually got the Rick Beato. Rick Beato did a signature model, and it's this blue double cutaway, and the thing, it fucking sings. I played it on the Rebellion tour, and every night I've never had a sound guy come up to me and be like, that guitar sounds amazing. It's so consistent. And never in the career playing 28 years of playing, I've never had a sound man come up and compliment the guitar tone.
Yeah, that's rare.
That guitar sounds great.
Right on. Hey, let me take my last quick sponsor break, and we'll come back and we'll take some questions from around the world. Okay?
Sounds good.
See you in a minute. That's right. It's the one, the only New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, The Texas Silver Rush, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Ging, Upstate Records, and looking for more extreme music, looking for yet more extreme music. DTFM Vinyl has got you, my friend. Located on 13th Ave in the jewel of North Dakota, Fargo, we have the state's complete selection of punk, hardcore, metal, ska, oi, and more. Can't make it in? Shop online from anywhere in the country at www.dtfmvinyldistrict.com. DTFM Vinyl, where the policy still is and always will be death to false metal. Last but not least, come on now. Upstate Records is a New York-based DIY independent metal and hardcore label. Founded in 2017, they broke into the scene with their inaugural 26-band compilation in 2018, and since then have churned out over 80 releases in their brief 5-year history. In 2023, look for new releases by Mark Rizzo's new band Revenge Beast, Carl from Earth Crisis Freya, Fury of 5, Angry Corpses, and a few more surprises that are in the works. Check them out at www.upstaterecords.com and use the code STONE10. You fool! And get 10% off. STONE10. Take off that yarmulke. Get on Upstate Records website. Get 10% off. That said, what it keeps popping through? I want to shout out Thomas Fritz. Are you still watching, Thomas? Thank you, Thomas. Something just popped through. Thomas just made a contribution to the revolution on my PayPal. Thank you, man. There it is, Stone4124 at AOL. There's the Patreon address. Thank you for contributing. Thank you all for supporting the show. Still able to do it 3 years later. I want to mention upcoming events that are going down. This Saturday, up at New York Hardcore Comics Presents up at in Ardsley at the Sawmill Tavern, Killing Time, Mickey's Crew, Omnism, and Peace Sign. Of course, the Black and Blue Park show is coming up. April, is it the 26th? I can't see the date on it. April 26th. Madball, Murphy's Law, Crown of Thorns, Vulture Raid, Vespid, and The Capturers. So the next day after that, it's the 29th, excuse me. That is Saturday, April 29th. And then Sunday, April 30th, it is the Back to the New York City Roots series continues. Free all ages at the Bowery Electric with Go, Crazy Eddie, Down Low, Crippled Earn, and Chum Huffer. Rebelmatic is going out on tour starting May 1st in Philly. Check them out. They're playing a bunch of places. Rampage Fest 5, Sunday, May 21st, featuring 7 bands on 2 stages. Reaching Out, Cropsey, Extinguish the Code, Pink Mist, Sewage, Raid, and Disguided. Then we are doing the New York Hardcore Chronicles show in Tompkins Square Park with Scott Hellen's Guitar Army of One, Winter Wolf, Butterbrain, Rebelmatic, and Leeway. Saturday, June 3rd at Generation Records is a Kings Never Die record release listening party and signing event. And then, if you haven't know, now you know, June 18th is the matinee at Irving Plaza. Biohazard, Sworn Enemy, Sheer Terror, Fury of 5, Sub-Zero, and Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. Tickets are on sale. This is going to be the biggest show of the year. My birthday show along with Steve Zing, Sunday, June 25th at the Bowery Electric. June 30th, Dog Eat Dog, Kings Never Die, Dead Crew, ID, Serial Poets, DJ Sid the Kid. And then, last but not least, Sunday, August 13th at the Bowery Electric, The Take, Silence Equals Death, Star Car with Sab Gray from Iron Cross, Ma'afa, and Mr. Pickle, first show in 10 years. So all that is going down. If you have any questions for our guest, Mr. Rusty Pistachio, please post them now. I know people were asking questions during the show, but I conveniently ignored them. Because as you know, we only do questions after the second break. So there you go. Any questions, Michelle, Lenny, anything like that, please feel free to post. Yeah, Larry, we got to put the word out for the park show. We're going to need a hand in Tompkins Square Park for the Leeway Rebelmatic show. If anybody can lend a helping hand, please reach out to me or Larry Kelly and let us know. That said, I think we're cool. Let's bring our guest back on. Hey, man.
Hi.
Everything all right over there?
Yeah, I was just talking to Toby.
Hey, he's almost done, Toby.
Okay, Rusty, we'll meet you at lunch. Bye. Drew, hit me up this week and we're hanging.
Yeah, no, we're coming in tomorrow. I'll text you. I'll text you the next day or so.
Okay, awesome. Safe travels.
All right, thank you, buddy. Yeah. So, okay, let's take a couple questions, huh?
Yeah.
Paulie Pork Chops Vid says, the first time I saw H2O was at Coney Island High in New York City on Halloween night, 1996, opening for Murphy's Law. Memories of Coney Island High?
Oh yeah. One of the main things you remember about Coney Island High is the building would sweat, and if you happen to look up, if you're in the pit and you looked up, and that the building would sweat. If it hit you in the eye, you'd be sick for a week.
Oh.
But it was a tight, hot, awesome spot. It was definitely a great little, and rest in peace, Steve Poss. Steve Poss would always hook us up, and he put us on many a show there, and it became home, and it was close. I mean, Toby lived 2 or 3 blocks away from there, so we filmed the Eveready video. We filmed it. The little underground spot, it's not there anymore. Neither is Coney Island High, but there was a little underground spot that they would do meetings.
Really?
Yeah, there was maybe 3 or 4 doors down. If you're looking at Coney Island High to the right, there was it's all Disneyed out now. Or
I did not know of this.
Yeah, but we did the Ever Ready video there. We pulled the van up and we went inside and set up. It was almost like a place where you would go for sober meetings or
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
you know. But yeah, that Coney Island High, definitely an awesome spot. And I know a couple cool things out of Coney Island High. It's like I remember Chris Shiflett. So me and Chris Shiflett and Jenna from L7 were like hanging out there. And it was the night that Chris Shiflett got the phone call that he was going to be in the Foo Fighters.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, I got to take this call. He leaves, comes back out. He's like, dude, I'm in the band. I'm like, you fucking won the golden ticket. That's great. It's good for you, man. So that was a Coney Island High night.
Wow. That's talk about, that phone call that comes in that fucking changes.
Yeah, changes your life.
Hey, we got to shout out our beloved friend, Hoya Rock. Hoya says, Rusty is the king of cakes in tour.
Hoya would call me Willy Wonka because every day, this is my goal. This is what I like to do when we're on tour, especially if we're out with Madball or Agnostic Front or any of our awesome New York family. It's like my goal is find good coffee. You wake up in the morning. We even started a text chain called the Coffee Crew. But whenever I would search for good coffee, I'm like, I'm going to find some good cakes, some good treats, something. And I'm going to basically put in a bag, hide in my bunk. And then at 3 a.m, when everyone's like, man, I wish I had something good right now, I would roll out and I'd be like, yo, check out this, Kuchen from so-and-such bakery that, at 3 a.m, you're never going to find. And they'd be like, oh, Hoya would be like, yo, Willy Wonka.
In the bus, like rolling through like the middle of nowhere in like Bremen, Germany,
or on the other side of the border of Poland, hitting rocks and bumps and going.
Yeah, right.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
The road once you go through the border in Poland, that one highway that just goes for like hours on end. It's like Hitler built that highway and they're still using it. It's like it's
that old and that beat up.
It's that beat up. Here's a good one. Well, let's go with this. Michael LaRouche asks, what's the biggest difference between Marshall and Orange? I've been interested because I've had a Marshall and I'm interested in Orange. Is there any way you could break it down in simple layman terms for us?
I think Orange has a fuller growl to it. It's I would say Marshall is like this. We'll give a visual. Marshall is like this. And with lines going up and down.
Right.
And Orange is like this. And it just emanates.
Okay.
But no, Marshall, pain in the ass to dial in. Sometimes you can get that chainsaw growl, but it's a little more bitey, a little more crackly, a little more finicky. Orange, warm, heavy, mids. You can get a good chugga. You can get a good punk rock. So to me, it's like it's the best of punk and hardcore.
Right on. And I know this is a tough one because they're all like your children, Rusty, what H2O record is your favorite, and can you still listen to it today?
That is a good question because I don't think I've ever had a favorite album. I have more favorite songs. I know for recording, the first record was fun. The first record was, we had Jimmy, we had Anthony Cuminelli, we had Stigma, we had Freddie, we had so many people, so many friends and family come in and just talk shit. Bought a bunch of 40s, everyone's drinking, talking shit, and so between the songs we put little segues and grab sound bites. And that record, it was a party and it was fun, and it was, we recorded it right by the Holland Tunnel, in a spot near Wetlands. It's basically, I think it was right across the street from Wetlands. And Larry Buxbaum, rest in peace, he produced that, and or at least he engineered it, and he ended up doing our second one as well. But no favorites, but definitely favorite songs.
Gotcha. Thomas says, Hazen Street sounded great on the Rebellion tour with Matt Henderson, Mackie, Hoya, Toby, Freddie, and Rusty doing vocal harmonies.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was a lot of good. That was fun. That was hard though. It was 24 shows in 12 days. So it was we would do a Hazen Street set and then we would do an H2O set, and it's like vocals got to work out. There was a shit ton of singing. All that Hazen Street shit is super high notes, and it's like, man, you push the shit out of your vocals, and then it's like, oh, we're doing H2O now. This is so much easier, but definitely work.
Okay, Michelle, here we go. I need tour stories about Fahrenheit 451, guys. Lenny's at school and can't defend himself. I only know his shtick. So, any story, anything about touring with Lenny and Fahrenheit 451?
Lenny's awesome. I can say there was one point in the tour, and it was early in the tour, and amazing band, amazing guys, and we were at a gas station, and there was a meltdown going on, and I was looking over at the band, going, great band, great guys, but it's too early in the tour for what's going on right now. It's like, I think it was some inner band bickering, maybe Ray and Armando was it was such a long time ago. I can't get into particulars, but I remember being like, you guys, you got way better things that are going to be happening for you outside of this argument that's going on at the gas station.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I penciled in, because we were talking beforehand, and this is like a bonus. Does touring get hard? Like you've done so much incredible touring, like, and you've mentioned during the interview, like at one point you're recording a record, but is touring gotten harder as you've gotten older? Has it changed?
What gets harder is your recovery time. It's before you bounce back, you fly to Europe day of, you sleep for 2 hours, you play the show, and then the next day, by the third show you're 100%, and physically, vocals, it's like you can rest your hands, guitars can be fixed, but vocals, if you don't get the right amount of rest, they'll blow out. And I noticed on this last tour, we did good and we held up, but it was definitely, we had to work at it to keep our shit together. And it definitely, the flights, the banality of public transportation, it fucking sucks. Yeah. It gets harder to deal with when you getting from point A to point B, but once you're out there, everything's great.
I remember, like I said, I haven't done it like that in a while, but I remember in the 90s when we'd go out, when I went out with Biohazard, or when I was managing Fury 5 or Marauder or Sub-Zero or Visaria, it's like you fly over to Europe with the band and everybody gets sick, right? Because you're all in the fucking plane together, and you're all in a van together. So right away, you show up in Europe and everybody gets sick like the first week. And then it takes about a week or 2 or 3 before you get over that. And then you kind of get up to speed about 3 weeks into it.
Yeah, it could be like the Rebellion tour recently. Matty thought he was getting a cold. So everybody is like, okay, Matty, you stay over there. No fist bumps, spray down everything. And honestly, we, if you treat it with, if you have some disinfectant around, it's like we were on a bus with 20 people and none of us got sick.
Wow.
So, and it's like, it was still winter over there basically, or the tail end of winter. And it was, 12 shows in a row, and, 24
LaRouche asks, longest tour. Do you recall what was the longest run you did?
I know that we did the Warped Tour. We did the Warped Tour from start to finish, and then not even a day or two off, and then we started a U.S. tour.
Wow.
And that was we were out for 10 weeks.
Yep.
No, that was actually longer than that. It was more like 8, and then it was probably almost 3 months with only a couple days off. But yeah, we did a lot of those.
I mean, it's amazing that I mean, I know this is a long time ago, and I guess when you have youth by your side, a young Toby Morse, but to sing day after day like that, man, it's a lot, man.
It's definitely it's work.
Yeah, it is. It is. Here's a really good one actually from Pat Baldwin. Does Doug Moody have the rights to your old Roadside Pet stuff? As you were on that Mystic comp of DC area bands, any chance of re-releasing that material?
Actually, our guitar player has that material, and I think he actually remastered it. I think he has the masters, the originals, and I would love to release it, and but no, I don't think Doug has the rights to anything. I think we put one song on that Mystic compilation, and but yeah, our original guitar player from that band has all the recordings, and I think it would be a matter of hey Johnny, can you send me a copy of all that shit? I got a record label that will put it out, and we could probably make it happen. Maybe we could talk to Chris. Are you listening, Chris? Chris Red. You want to put out Roadside Pets? I'm
going to talk to him probably tonight. I'll mention it.
Mention to him. Say, hey, you want to put out this Roadside Pets?
Hey, listen, man, fuck our shit. By the way, I was talking to Rusty today.
Yeah. Let's go back to the 80s.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to sort of rejigger this question from our friend Joel Ackerman down in Tallahassee, Florida. What was one of the bigger shows you played in terms of attendance or venue? Let me rephrase that. Is there any particular place that when you see it on the itinerary, you go, oh yeah. Is there like a place that, I don't want to call it an anomaly, but like some place that's just fucking loves H2O?
Belgium. Shows in Belgium. There was Groats Rock in Belgium. That was one of the, where like, if we knew that festival was on the tour, we're like, oh, it's going to be fucking great. We played there, I forget what year, but it was probably 80, 100 people on stage with a stage diving on top of themselves.
Wow.
It was, I know they have video online. If you H2O Groats Rock, and they did almost like a professional, like 5 camera angle thing. And it looks insane. And, we get to this song, What Happened, and everyone just bum rushed the stage, and that. And another, we played in Brazil, this big park show, and there was about 150,000 people at this thing. And while we were playing, there was about maybe 50,000 people. And you're on this big giant stage, big LED thing behind you, and you're playing it, and you're like just doing what you do, what you've always done. And then you see video of it, and you're like, wow, that shit looked fucking big. It looked like some big rock shit.
Yeah, those big stages, man, that are like half the size of a football field, right? It's like,
yeah, insane.
And like I always like when you guys come back from those kind of tours, or you guys or Madball are sick of it all, and I see him in New York at a club, and it's just like, okay, they're bringing the European stage show and vibe in, like they're
into the smaller.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And there's definitely it's two different animals. The way you approach it, it just seemed like, I mean, when we were doing you play into like 50 people at a tiny club in Philly, and then you're on the Warped Tour, and it's like 5,000 people in front of you, and you're on a big stage, and you make big gestures, and like, hey, look at me.
Right.
I'm hitting that guitar.
That's right.
And then you're in the club, and you're just basically dip, dodge.
It's like, and then you're in New York. Like I see Madball, and they're like, when I say New York, you say hardcore New York, hardcore. It's like,
yeah.
All right, this is the year. All right, we get to see the European stage show. Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to shout out our friend and big friend and supporter Robert Hogg, who just sent me this picture of when you guys, I guess last time you played in Scotland. This is in Scotland. So yeah. All right, Robert, shouting you out, man.
Awesome.
He's a
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Scotland must be a fun place to play, huh?
Yeah. A lot of heart there. A lot of heart.
Yeah.
And I think the first time we played Scotland, I think there was a. It's great to be here in England, and you hear bottles clink, 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 clink. Because it was one of those tours where you almost forgot where you were what night, and it's in such close proximity to the UK. Same island.
Another one from Michelle. You currently live in South Carolina in a top secret location. What's the best part? What's the best part of the area you guys moved to? Asking for future retirement.
Oh, the best part is it's right near the May River, and it's like a saltwater estuary. And you can wake up every morning, and depending on the day, you can see dolphins swimming by. You can see alligators swimming by. You can see manatees swimming by. So it's like a really, and it's tidal, so it comes in, it goes out. So you see high tide, low tide, and it's definitely great sunsets. And all the people. I want to say it's a small town, so it's that small town. Everyone knows each other and everyone respects each other. You know, at least way more than any big city.
That's nice.
And so it's definitely it's a cool vibe. It's nice. It's nice when the mayor goes jogging by and they say, "Hey, Rusty, how you doing?" I'm like, "That was the mayor. The mayor knows me."
Yeah, that's nice.
And if you need a permit for whatever you're doing, it's easy to just walk over to town hall and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? I need a permit for this. Can you help me out?" "Oh yeah, sure." Get it done that day. So, yeah,
it's a far cry from living in Manhattan, right?
Oh yeah, Manhattan or LA or Berlin, any big city, you're like, "Oh man, this is a lot." But New York, I still consider anywhere I've lived, and it's like I grew up a Navy brat, so we definitely moved around a bunch. But I lived in New York for pretty much the longest, and it's like my mom still lives upstate. But New York is like the birthplace of H2O and pretty much formative years. If you say, even though it was like 20s up, it was New York is home.
Yeah,
it's at least it's got the biggest part of my heart.
Thank you. It's my home too, and I love it. Let's end with this. West Fortitude says, one of my greatest memories is when Rusty Pistachio let me play 5-Year Plan on his guitar during an H2O show in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll never forget that night or how cool Rusty and H2O has always been to our crew.
Oh, dude. Yep. Very welcome.
Well, thank you for coming on, Rusty. We had a lot of laughs today. I told you we were going to have fun.
Yeah.
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Anybody you want to thank or shout out?
Shout out my bandmates, Toby, Adam, and just the New York hardcore scene, Madball, Agnostic Front. It's like Murphy's Law. So many. It's almost like when you see someone's I just got handed a SAG award or a Golden Globe, and they're like, "Who do you thank?" And it's like, "Fuck, I didn't prepare for this."
It's better that way.
every bandmates above and beyond, all our friends and family, and basically everyone who's been there and seen the highs and seen the lows and stuck with us. Anyone who has grabbed onto the good sides of our messages and and actually put them to good work. Everyone.
Oh, wow,
anyone.
Look who is tuning in. Our good friend Don Foos. What's up, man?
Hey, Don.
Right on, Don. Go on. I'm sorry.
But no, just anyone who just has an ear and a heart. Thank you, guys. I know.
Well, thank you.
I'm grateful that I'm an old motherfucker and I'm still able to do this. And it's every day I wake up thinking, is when will it end? And I know the pandemic definitely tested that, and we all thought, yeah, that's it, it's done. But yeah, that Rebellion tour we just did, going back, stepping on stage, say Maastricht in Netherlands. So you step on stage and you start singing "My friends look out for me like family." The whole crowd sings it back. You get goosebumps. You get a little teary eyed, and you're like, "Yeah, this is why we're doing it." There's a connection, and I'm fucking grateful that it's still there.
Fantastic. Well, keep in touch, and
Yes,
I'll see you soon, and I'll probably see your bandmate Toby in the next couple days when I'm
yes,
out there.
you will.
So thanks for everything, Rusty. I'll talk to you
Drew,
soon.
thank you so much, Drew.
My pleasure. Take care.
All right. All right.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Our guest today was Rusty Pistachio from H2O and Pnut Jewelry. Great guest. We had a couple of laughs. It was a really fun show. And I want to shout out Eddie Medina. Eddie Medina from Powerhouse is a new patron. How about that? Wow. Hey, listen, man. If Eddie Medina's jumping on board for fucking $2 a month, fucking get with the program, will you? That's fucking great, man. Thank you, Eddie. And I also want to shout out. I got another little donation during the show. I want to shout out Thomas Fritz. Says, love your YouTube stuff. Well, thank you, man. I can't do it without you guys. I just can't. And thank you so much. Robert Hogg, I posted your picture. You saw it, right? Did you see it? Yeah. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. These shows are honest, man. They really are. They really are. The shows we've been doing lately are great. We've been doing some great shows lately. Hegs, thank you, man. I put the hump in hump day, right? Hey, you know what? This is the final picture of the day. I'm excited to see these guys. Hold on, let me clear the deck. This show is taken this photo was taken 30 years ago. I'm going to be with these guys tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great. It's really, really, really going to be great. Seeing these guys and getting it going, man. So big day tomorrow, and lots of exciting things coming up with my old friends. Here, one last one. If you notice, they are spelling my name out behind me. So yeah, looking forward to doing some big things with these guys starting tomorrow. Yes, shout out to Chris Contos, who's joining the Forbidden reunion. That's right. Yeah, he texted me the other day. So Chris Contos is playing drums in Forbidden. Pretty badass, if I do say so myself. There is no show on Sunday because I won't be around. But coming back a week from today is the New Music Spotlight Show with Jerry A. from Poison Idea, talking about his new project, Crime Scene. Our good pal, Sammy Town from Fang, talking about their new release. Dan Nastasi from Kings Never Die, who was the first ever guest on the show 3 years ago. And some of the guys from Cropsey as well will be on for that. Yeah, man. You're excited. I'm excited. We're excited. Let's do it. It's going down. Fucking going down. That said, thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you soon. Until then, do good things, and good things will come to you.